The air crackled with tension. Two men, worlds apart, locked in a battle of wills. The Oval Office, a symbol of global power, became a pressure cooker of desperation and anger. President Trump, a titan of American politics, faced Volodymyr Zelensky, the embattled leader of a nation on the brink. Cameras flashed, capturing every grimace, every bead of sweat, every flicker of fear. This wasn't just a meeting, it was a global standoff. The world watched, holding its breath, as the hope for peace teetered on a razor's edge. Zelensky's plea was raw, a desperate cry for help from a nation bleeding. 300 missiles a day rained down on Ukrainian cities. Civilians huddled in fear. Children died in the rubble. The world had offered billions, yes, but it wasn't enough. The monster was at his door, and he needed more than words. He needed action. He needed America. Trump was unmoved. His voice boomed, echoing off the gilded walls. $500 billion, wasn't that enough? He accused Zelensky of being ungrateful, of escalating the conflict, of dragging the world closer to the abyss. Peace, he argued, couldn't be bought with endless war. But the peace he offered felt like surrender. The human cost of this war is staggering. 3 years of bloodshed have painted Ukraine's once vibrant landscape with the grim hues of death and destruction. 600,000 Russian soldiers lie dead. Ukrainian casualties, though closely guarded, are undoubtedly horrific. Young men, barely old enough to shave, forced to fight and die for a conflict they didn't choose. Families torn apart, homes reduced to rubble, futures extinguished. The economic toll is equally devastating. $1.5 trillion vanished, gone, swallowed by the insatiable maw of war. Russia, despite sanctions, continues to hemorrhage money, $10 billion a day, to fuel this senseless conflict. 20% of Ukraine, once a breadbasket of Europe, now lies under Russian occupation. The scars of this war will take generations to heal, if ever they do. The impact of this war extends far beyond the borders of Ukraine. The world is reeling. 20 million Africans face starvation as grain shipments, once a lifeline, are disrupted. 6 million Ukrainians have fled their homes, becoming refugees in a world struggling to cope. Poland, bearing the brunt of this exodus, is stretched to its limit. The energy crisis gripping Europe has sent prices soaring, pushing millions into poverty. Global food and fuel costs have skyrocketed, hitting the poorest the hardest. This is not just a regional conflict, it is a global catastrophe. While the world watches in horror, a silent partner lurks in the shadows: China. $2.4 trillion in trade flows between China and Russia. 40% of Russia's oil, shunned by the West, finds a willing buyer in Beijing. Chinese-made chips, essential components in modern warfare, have been found in downed Russian drones. China claims neutrality, but its actions speak louder than words. Their economic support is a lifeline for Putin, enabling him to prolong the conflict and inflict further suffering on the Ukrainian people. This is not neutrality, it is complicity. The fallout from the White House clash has been swift and brutal. Republicans, once a united front behind their leader, are now fractured. Some support Trump's stance, arguing for a pragmatic approach and blaming Zelensky for the impasse. Others condemn his handling of the situation, arguing that his actions embolden Putin and undermine America's standing on the world stage. The Democrats, largely united in their condemnation of Trump, accuse him of abandoning a key ally in the face of naked aggression. This is not just a foreign policy debate, it is a symptom of a deeper rot, a crisis of conscience within American democracy itself. The world watches America, the self-proclaimed leader of the free world, and wonders, what now? Can the damage be repaired? European leaders scramble to fill the void left by America's retreat, pledging billions in aid and promising unwavering support for Ukraine. But their resources are finite, and their unity is fragile. The future of Europe, and indeed the world, hangs precariously in the balance. We stand at a crossroads. The horrors of the Russia-Ukraine war, the human suffering, the economic devastation, the geopolitical instability should shake us to our core. Yet there is a chilling silence in the face of this barbarity. Where is the outrage? Where is the collective will to stop this madness? Have we become so inured to violence, so desensitized to suffering, that we can simply turn away? This is not just a war on Ukraine, it is a war on our shared humanity. This is not the time for apathy. This is not the time for silence. The future of Ukraine, the future of Europe, the future of humanity hangs in the balance. We cannot afford to be bystanders in this struggle. We must demand our leaders take action to stop the bloodshed, to hold aggressors accountable, to build a more just and peaceful world. The time for action is now. What will you do?